You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took.
For what?
For reaction to take hold.
What reaction? It wasn't reaction, you were just afraid. I understand. Communists are natural cowards, quantity over quality. And when was this exactly? I'll go with the third one.
You haven't seen it. The face of who you serve, naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
And when was this exactly?
May the 13th, '08. 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic?
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower.
He gestures towards it.
Huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon. But I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
He looks east.
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
You didn't go to the map room.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
He looks at the sky. What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Some kind of great terror. Worse than you've ever seen.
Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
What?
That the bourgeois are not human.
You've lost your mind.
I had to. I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place? This island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
You mean the landing, retaking of Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
First, I'm not one of them. A coalition military. Someone who's come to end this madness. Murderers, I know what you mean. Tell me something else. Someone who's come to end this madness.
Iblis,
Iblis?
the black-eyed angel.
He nods.
Shaitan Ahura, the darkened one.
How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
That's a choice. You have become. You could have become self-employed, create the system.
You're insane and grotesque. Everyone steals. Vegetables, supplies. It's the life of a dog.
He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly. How is your health?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Kuno's dad has this shit. Wine belly. The cops can take care of this, right? Medicine shit. With, like, facilities.
Yes, it may be serious, cancer even. The police can give you medical services. You need to be looked over. That's what you get stealing things. Okay, we are awful, so we have to click the second one here.
Yes. That is true, Dwat. That is true. That's the punishment in the jungle.
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
What was it like?
What was it like? There was hope. A little hope. They needed to snuff it out. Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Krasmasov coursing in their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
So in the city you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted.
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
The weapons cache under Sargeslane 22B in the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Tell me another thing.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You said this is your term to surrender?
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
I'm not coalition appointed, I just try to help people. That's right, I'm with the good guys. We enforce the law, we keep these animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Masovian revolutionary unit. I'm with the RCM, let's have it at that. We enforce the law to keep these animals from killing each other.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans ce land. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender. Before that, tell me, the communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that why you've been here for 43 years? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honorable, that's insane, understood. I feel like despite being on opposite sides politically, I feel like you would kind of respect that, right? Honorable?
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
So you're a communist soldier from the communist army?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
My pig asked you a question. Quit spazzing out and tell him about the...
The kid doesn't get to finish the sentence.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution. A future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology. He was like a cleric, a shepherd.
So you were like a priest?
No. The opposite of that. A future human, not a human of the past.
That means you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
I'm a nationalist, by the way. Using the gentler word. By the way, I'm a fascist. I'm a revolutionary too. Today, the real revolutionizing is done by entrepreneurs. I'm not really into politics myself, or say nothing. Let's just be blunt here.
You're not. You're part of the meat shield surrounding the real fascists while they rape children. That's what you are.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than just metabolism.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. Even the kid can smell it.
Killing people? Like straight offing them?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
You mean like lately? After the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
what?
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you kill people after active fighting stopped?
What did I just say?
He keeps shaking his head erratically suddenly. He brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Crenell? I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two? I'll say the third one.
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Crenell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear. The corpse in ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th. His name was Lely. He was part of a security detail here in Martinez. A beautiful, strong man sent here by the Honorable Private Military Company Crenell. You know who I mean. No, I don't think we'd go for the fourth one here. After all, like Everard says, the fascists hate the foreign mercenaries too. So, I think I'm gonna go with the first one here.
Oh yes, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him? Fucking tell this cop.
The kid puffs his chest.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything you got on him. The more, the better. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener.
Okay.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. Show him the Triangong 446.
Got nothing to say about that boomstick, huh? You choking? That's the stick that did it?
Yes, it's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons, eh? Going against automatic rifles with a flame bomb. Of course you got all those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
We saved a lot of them. Their leader Titus, we handled that situation. Stop squirming, I have the murder weapon. Or okay then. Stop squirming, I have the murder weapon.
You let them all die. Pranced around. Let your little friend be shot too. I didn't get a good look at that. Tell me, did he bleed out?
Shut up, I'm calling it. I have the murder weapon.
Who are you trying to prove this to, huh? Your friend? He's not here. He's dead, isn't he?
He's not dead, he's in the hospital.
The world will rejoice when he dies. One fascia less.
He hisses, then glances into the reeds and twitches suddenly.
Like a marionette on some invisible string. This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
We've done the ballistics, point to the tower. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
He's practically admitting to it.
You said fascies? You're admitting you killed him? It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez. I'm just gonna go with the second one here.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Another sudden twitch, then one more. One in his right eye.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
Come on, what am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the side of your head.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh yes!
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course, thank you, Ed. Thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Show him the dried flower.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
Bet you've been sneaking around a lot. Hidden. Know any secret paths? Kuno knows paths.
I may.
A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Clausia. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window.
Clausia.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the withering field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm.
Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on everything.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
He looks at his running shoes covered in mud. Show me the soles of your shoes, please.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
Okay, let me quickly... when would be a better time than now, when a red check in the late game comes up? Let's just pump 2 points into that. There we go, that's better. Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The kid gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
As we've established, we don't like them either. Do I go with the second one or the third one? I mean, I personally think he deserved it, but that just crosses it off the list of selections here. Let's go with number 2 because we don't like the foreign mercenaries either.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger. Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Well, in this case, yeah.
Fucking hell.
The kid looks at him for 1, maybe 2 seconds, breathing heavy with excitement.
Be very, very precise now. Don't make a splash. You can still mess it up.
Is that a moment where we slip up in this? We've been better with Kuno around because I guess we're less toxic towards him because we've built up a friendship with him, unlike Kim. So maybe we let loose a little bit. I just fucking nailed you, super cup of Jamrock. Yeah, let's go with that.
Moronic, gloating psychopath.
He squints.
A motive. A real cop gets a motive now.
Wait, motive? Why? Yeah, shush. Wait, motive? Why?
He could say he was taking the fall for someone. It's useless in court without a motive. Go be a cop now. Don't mess it up. Coax it out of him. He's still warm. They were fucking.
One more thing. Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
You always creeping on people through your scope like that?
The kid squints his eyes.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like what you see,
Click.
If it's part of the shit you see,
then you pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it.
okay, what specifically did you not... you know what? Let's quickly
I ain't going anywhere.
let's quickly stock up on our drugs. There we go. Some more booze. Can we? No, we cannot. We have to. We have to double do it. We have to double equip it. There we go. Does it work now? Wonderful. Then the pyro. Right, double equip. Let's not forget this time. Pyro. And the speed, I think. So let's do the preptide, or... yeah, let's just do the preptide. Empty that out. Okay. And let's talk again.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But
He shrugs.
you can't have everything.
Missed that was in quotations. Yeah, okay.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving,
What was she doing there?
hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
And beautiful.
That, too.
He nods.
The sun came up, and her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on. Right there. She needed it, just to move.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there, to Cachet Brut.
This is the hidden buoy she told us about. You looked into it?
After she was gone,
Did you keep the materials? When I found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her.
Are you sure? I checked the submersible. There was nothing there.
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revershal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
The bruises. Can you make that out in a scope?
Good point.
And the fact that she was a spook? How did he come to that?
First, you could tell she was a spook from the documents.
She had different color hair on the photo. And glasses. Forged. Some sort of sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
And the bruises, you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see that through a scope. It's just a blur there.
Okay, reaction speed. How does he know those minute details about her body?
It quickly comes to you.
The bruises on her body, any chance you've seen them through a hole in the wall?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing, all at once.
You made that hole?
With a clip-point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake.
Yeah, the lightning gets you going. Speed freaks fucking in the bushes.
He must know his way around a creaky floorboard and a rusty hinge on a door.
How did you get in there, the hidden pinball workshop?
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
And the door? The steel door in the kitchen, how do you open that?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points towards the whirling in rags.
And he found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
He shakes his head and stares at the ashes.
While he stands here and rots.
You saw through her, so did I.
You're delusional. There's nothing to see in the soul of the bourgeois woman. It's the same as the surface. Sick hedonism and desperation.
She did deserve a good punishing. I hate women too, you know. I'm not like that. I don't think like that. Men are insane. Shake your head. Do we just go blunt? Sure, why not?
True. There is something bourgeois about women.
Oh my god.
The weak are more vulnerable to exploitation by capital. Unless they rise up in arms, which the likes of her...
He shakes his head. Okay, so because it didn't happen in this playthrough, and it also didn't happen in my first playthrough where I went down the communist path, at the end of the communist vision quest, you can ask the student communists the one important question about communism. I don't quite remember what you ask when you succeed that skill check, but when you fail that skill check, you ask them, are women bourgeois? So that coming back, right, with the most communist character of them all is kind of funny to me. Though I find it hard to believe that both of those things happen in the same run usually, right? Because this is clearly the fascist part, the fascist path. So that's a funny little thing to call back to, I suppose. Okay, he shakes his head.
Twisted by psychopharmaceuticals, alcohol, and the class interests of the bourgeoisie. They all are women nowadays.
He raises his eyes from the ashes. You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Have there been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again. A sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
It's as if something put the thought there, to leave the flowers.
You wanted to console her? You wanted to manipulate her? Something put the thought in you, a compulsion. Say nothing. Something put the thought in you, a compulsion.
What do you mean, put?
He raises his eyes. They're round and wide.
A brief flash of terror.
I just got this feeling from what you said. Do you agree?
Maybe. I have these holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye. So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
It was about bitches.
The boy nods grimly.
There, motive, detective. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
We arrested her.
Locked up with your masters, like I'll be. Maybe we'll meet. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, like she knew. Staring at the island. The fort. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Across the harbor, on the banks of the River Esperance, cold rain falls on Precinct 57. A two-story box of duraluminium near the gates to Terminal H.
Let's look east.
Inside a cell, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol all at once, while two men in brown suits wave ICP badges at a young policeman. She hears the door open and knows it's over. They've come for her. Outside, it's springtime. The river flows blue and green into the Bay of Martinez. There, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, two police officers and one special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a sea fort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the Commune, then lost in the landing.
And that is why, despite the fact that I don't really like Claudia all that much as a person, I think she's a well-written character. I don't find her particularly likable, but she does not deserve the arrest in this game, I think, because, yeah, that consequence is a bit, and by a bit, I mean way too harsh. That's way too harsh for her, getting caught by the ICP guys. Yeah, that's unfortunate, of course. Okay.
He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the three walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification in the rain, like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We can totally get more out of him. He's squealing.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
Well, then let's...
Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.